Beautiful people, welcome back to Organizing an ADHD Brain, where the perfect place to start is right where you are. I'm your host, Megs Crawford. I'm a professional organizer, an ADHD coach, and a fellow work in progress. Because let's be honest, we're all work in progress. This season 3, we're talking about the messy middle. Not about the before, not about the after, but all of the stuff that comes in between. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of stuff that comes in between that perfect before and after picture. So let's jump right in. Yay, welcome back. It's October and I've got a really juicy guest episode for you today. I'm so excited to welcome back Russ from ADHD Big Brother. We're talking more about the messy middle. And what I really like about talking to Russ is he has a different perspective on things than I do, which is so important because not every ADHD coach is going to be the same. Our perspective on life is not going to be the same. And it allows us to understand what's going to make sense for us when we're trying to make a change and how are we going to get from point A to point B. You're going to love his idea about half-assing it until you can whole-ass it. With that said, as you can see in the title, this podcast is not going to be kid-friendly. There is going to be swearing in it. Someone made a comment on my YouTube channel the other day that they would not be tuning in again because there were swears in it. That's okay. I'm not always going to filter myself and I don't always swear, but in this case, you're going to hear them. Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Some of you may not realize when it comes to podcasts, you're not always monitored. And in my specific podcast, I haven't actually picked a sponsor yet, specifically because I don't want to be a part of the ADHD tax where you're paying for something you don't necessarily need. With that said, there are a lot of things that I could promote, but today's podcast is brought to you directly by the Organizing an ADHD Brain community. I developed the community so that I could support women and sometimes men to get from point A to point B. And we're going through the messy middle together. So super kudos to the community today because that is what allows me to continue to bring you this podcast. Supporting the podcast doesn't have to cost money, and you taking the time to leave a review is everything. If you decide to leave a review, take a screenshot of it and email me, megs@organizinganadhdbrain.com, and I'll send you a copy of the to-do list download that I've talked about in previous episodes. Otherwise, just drop me a line. I'd love to chat. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome back to Organizing an ADHD Brain. Russ Jones, he is the first guest to ever be back 3 times on this show, which is so cool.
Really?
In season 3, you're welcome to be back. So if you're new here, if you've never heard of Russ Jones, he is an ADHD coach. He also runs an award-winning membership, ADHD Big Brother, and is host of ADHD Big Brother on anywhere you listen to podcasts. He is awesome, talks about skull spaghetti, talks about ADHD and doing the things. And I'm super pumped to be bringing him back to you today. We're going to be talking more about the messy middle and making positive changes with ADHD, but getting through the drudge of the middle and what that looks like, what it feels like, and how to continue going. Russ, thanks so much for being back here.
Thank you for having me. I didn't realize this was number 3. Oh, how time flies.
Season 3, yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
I'm excited to talk about the creamy middle with you. The eclair, the sugary center, or let's turn it into the eclair center and not be, I don't know.
Yeah. I really like that because I think when we zoom out, right, we're born and then we die and all of the middle is the middle, right? If we're being really logical about it, it's all the messy middle.
Yeah.
But I know in my eyes, the way I always looked at life was that the next achievement I had, then everything will be good, right? Like once I get this promotion, then it'll all be great. Or once I have this amount of money, then it'll be so awesome. And once this happens, for me, it's organizing. Once I'm done organizing, then I can have this peaceful life. And I'm like, no, that's not what this is about. Like, how do we make a decision on doing something new and doing something different? And how do we stick with it? Because once you start to make your way towards something, change feels uncomfortable. So tell me about your take on the messy middle.
Everything that you just said just there, I think of why we avoid stuff. Because when I think about the future, I can think dreamily. I can think, oh, that's going to be great. And that's all it's good. And $1 million and 2 boats and whatever. And the right now is the crappy stuff. We can always go, okay, I'll get started tomorrow. Because right now I'm not in the mood to think about the gross stuff. So the messy middle is really a get started preventer is what it seems. Even though it's like my mantra for how an ADHDer can move forward, because we have to move forward. We have these goals and these dreams and we don't feel like doing them. And, nowadays we've all got trauma somewhere. I've got depression. People have anxiety. We've got dumb spouses and kids that annoy us and jobs and all these things that are very real. And they make us want to take a break and they make us want to earn rest, which is justifiable, right? I mean, it makes sense. Like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. I need a break. Okay. I'm burnt out. I need a break. Great. Okay. So we all have these justifiable reasons to take a break. And there's too many reasons to take a break. So we are often doing nothing and letting the guilt and the shame build up. So a big aspect of my work, especially with coaching people, is even though all that is true, get your ass in therapy, even though all these things are true, what are you going to do for 30 minutes towards your goal? What's the commitment that you're going to make? That's all I have to say about that.
Awesome. And that's the podcast. Wow.
And cut.
That's awesome. And what's cool about what we do is people come to us because they want to change. For me, women who seek better organization. How do I understand the chaos in my brain and put it in compartments where I know where to go to retrieve it? You are helping people become more productive in your coaching.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they come because they want the change, but then they stay because part of coaching is reminding you how far you've come, but also understanding that you have the capacity to keep going. I saw this thing the other day about how if you focus on how far you have to go, and it was cool because Russ just did a goal presentation in my membership and you showed us this big, huge mountain. And if you focus on the mountain, right, like this, everything you have to go, why would you start? There's so much, right? Like I started learning Spanish in the beginning of the year. And when I took my first test, I was like, this is hard. And then I walked up to someone who is Spanish and I was like, I know no words. I have a vocabulary. They tell me how many words I have and I'm in this position to speak Spanish. No, it's gone, right? Like, why would I ever try to do something this is so uncomfortable? But like that, right? Like that mountain prevents us from wanting to take a step forward because we don't break it down that far. But when we look how far we've come, when we look at what we've built, the scaffolding that we're standing on to this point, it helps us see that we actually can make change. We just have to know now what we're changing toward, because change is inevitable no matter what. You're either changing for the worse or changing for the better. So what does that look like? And how do we decide to make a change? And then how do we keep moving forward after we decide? Because deciding to make a change, like that's almost the easiest part of it. You're so uncomfortable that you're like, okay, now I'm going to move forward.
Yeah, that's interesting because the way that it's being presented right now, right, is like we always come to change from an exasperated place. Something is chaotic and rock bottom, so I have to do something about this. And it's not from a place of, hey, where do I want to get to? Hey, what do I want to be when I grow up? Hey, it's not like the fantasy stuff. So I would literally start there, right? When we talk about like the wheel of life and like find out where you are out of balance in life. What bucket is not overflowing? Where are you dissatisfied in life? Your listeners, Google Wheel of Life. And it's basically you look at all the buckets of your life, money, health, finances, family, love, all that stuff. And you ask yourself, you scale to 1 to 10 it. How satisfied are you in that area? And then that gives you an idea of where might I create a goal and move my needle forward. Then it's not about like, oh God, what do I do? How do I get my shit together? It's who do you want to be in? And you make it a fun daydream kind of a deal. So much of God. Yeah. Like so many times I think it's just because we're coaches. So people come to you from a really bad place, right? It's not a fun place of, hey, what do I want to be? Let me go pay some money for a coach. It's like, I got to get my shit together. Help. It's a different dynamic.
No, that's beautiful. I love the wheel of life. You just showed us a picture of it and just like understanding what bucket do I need to fill up the most right now?
Yeah.
Because everything is important in our brains. We want everything. Everything is important. So like, of course I want to make more money, but of course I also want to work on my health, but also I want to be the best mom, and also I want to be the best spouse, and also am I a good friend? Let me look at that, right? All of these things, yes, are important. And they can still be important if you're working on one goal. It's just that one goal might take up more of your working memory in the moment. Once you've decided on that, like you've made a decision, for example, to get more organized, and now you have uncovered all of the work that needs to be done to get to the other side, right? You've hired me or you started listening to the podcast, and now you're just like, oh my God, I now see that this is not something that I can do in a weekend or just taking a week off of work.
Oh, yeah.
Why would I possibly continue going if I see how far this is going to take me? It's uncomfortable. Yeah. It's super uncomfortable to see what we've gotten ourselves into in some cases when it comes to making this change.
Yeah. And that's what you're talking about, right? That's the mess. That's the messy feeling. This isn't going to feel good. So many of us get caught up in the idea of once I feel good about it, once I get to my juicy motivation going, then I'll do the thing. And that's not how it works. How it works is typically you have to move forward. And then, momentum happens. What it really is about, it's like, how do you make time for the thing that is important, right? But that feels like it sucks and it feels like not now. Because in ADHD land, nothing good ever feels good. Oh my God, it's like lightning strikes. If something that's like, exercise, I'm sorry, I'm never going to be like, yeah, I'm juiced up about it. Some people, maybe they do. And that's how, and their light shines for that. I don't. So I have to make time for it. That means I have to create challenges for myself. I have to make it novel in some way. I have to put it in my calendar. So these things, when people are in the messy middle of things, it's about time in. So when are you going to put time like this? I get all sinister about it. When are you going to do it? When are you going to put it in your calendar? Let me see you do it. Show me. Prove it. To make things more likely to move forward, to get out of the messy middle, you have to put time in toward the thing.
Yeah.
And the only way to put time in toward a thing is to put it in your calendar, set reminders, make a game out of it, give yourself permission to quit when the timer's up, that kind of stuff. That's the only way. In my experience, I'm sure there's a million other ways. There's 5 billion books on how to do this. I mean, it's time in. Make the time happen.
Do you find that, the people who are putting the time in, they forget why they started?
Let's take a quick break.
If you're enjoying this episode, I have a quick favor to ask. Could you take just a minute to leave a review? I know. Every podcast asks, but here's the deal. Your review helps other ADHD brains like ours find this show. Plus, reading them seriously makes my day. So if something in this episode has helped you, made you laugh, or even made you feel seen, let me know by leaving a quick review. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. Now, back to the episode.
Maybe. Yeah. What am I doing again? These dishes never stop. Why am I putting these clothes away? Yeah. When it comes to goals, I'm a goal guy, right? So I'm not sure this relates necessarily to the messy middle, but you have to know what you're doing. You need permission to forget. So to give yourself permission to forget, you need some sort of a system to remind you. And it's not, I'll just remember, because that's never going to happen. But get it out of your head. Get it where you're going to see it. Get it where you're going to see it. And honestly, to me, that's your calendar. God, if you're an ADHDer and you don't have a calendar, man, you're dead in the water, man. I don't know. Like, how do you remember appointments? How do you remember anything? Right? So take that and apply it to everything. Take it to like, I'm going to organize my living room, or I'm going to organize something. Where does that live? Just in your mind? So the whim is going to hit one day and you're going to like, oh yeah, that's right. I was going to paint the baseboards. Okay. That's paint the baseboards Thursday. Are you going to paint them, or are you just going to go shopping for paint and forget what you're painting? I just jogged my own memory of a thing. The part about the messy middle is also knowing what done is. If your thing is painting isn't the thing. There's the prep, there's the laying out stuff, there's the painting, but then the painting's not done. It's also cleaning up, putting the paint away, washing the brushes, all that stuff. We have a tendency to create a monstrosity of messy middles by doing half-assed, I don't want to say half-assed, because I bet when we're painting good.
Oh, yeah.
But
the paint job is amazing.
It's amazing.
The cleanup job, no.
What clean? Yeah, I'll get to it tomorrow, whatever it is. Not now. So that's another big deal. But all this stuff belongs somewhere outside of your brain.
I love that because so much of the time it works until it doesn't, right? So much of the time we just keep it all up here. And then we drop the ball because something else happens in our life that bumps out everything else from the working memory.
Yeah.
Works until you've got life that continues to come at you and you have nothing to ground yourself. And now there's nothing to come back to. When you're trying to make a change in any way, shape, or form, whatever you're trying to do needs to be written down in some way, shape, or form so that you don't have to rely on just what's up here. We want to because it works sometimes, right? Until it doesn't. But if you are trying to actively make a change, you might forget. But also, if you do have a bad day, I know that is where a lot of the times I get stuck is I want to continue to put out podcast episodes that people listen to. Because I've been doing it for a long time, I hold myself to a higher standard. And I'm like, well, why would I even do this anymore? I haven't even progressed to where I think I should be, right? Now I get into my head about all of these things. And so when we're having bad days or we are going through these days when our brain takes us down a path of who we used to be before we decided to make this change, how do you guide people to see the light again?
How do you guide them back to the light of their initial purpose?
Yeah.
Oh man,
understanding
so this is
why they're doing it.
I don't care about the why. They care about the why. I don't care about the why. I care about, are you doing what you said? Are you moving your goal? And I don't know if this is an oppositional stance that other people don't have, but fucking mindset stuff. We have ADHD. You want to talk about forgetting? Go have an epiphany about how you're going to become a person that loves dishes now, or that you're going to become the laundry, master. And tell me how that goes. You could muster it up. You could become that and be like, this is who I am. I am this new person. And then tomorrow shit happens. Your kid throws up at school, your dog shits all over your house, and you're like, oh God, I have a mess to deal with. And then you're back to being you again. That mindset change wasn't you. You are you. And you had decided that you wanted a goal. You made that important. You said that was a big deal to you. That's what a coach does, right? The coach is like, you said this was important. So, fuck your feelings right now. You said this was important, so prove it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going and going and going. That's the up and down. You're going to lose the light for it, but then your light will come back. Think about the careers that we have, right? So we're both coaches. Remember the times when things were going great and you're like, I'm doing it. I've made it. I'm doing the thing. And then imagine the times when it's like, okay, well, part of being a coach is how quickly can you get fired? So now you don't have clients because you did a good job. And then you're like, God, what am I doing here? This is not working. I need to think about things and all that. How do you stay on track when your feelings are like, oh my God, the imposter syndrome and the anxiety of how do I feed my kids and all these things? The why might be able to be like how you logically go, oh, I did the why work and I know my why. But how does that's not going to make you feel like doing the dishes. That's not going to make you feel like, I'm just coming at this from an organizational thing. It could be anything, right? It could be like, how am I going to record podcasts, or how am I going to, it's time in. Make the time for it and put it in your calendar, and then do whatever ADHD tricks you have to honor that time. And then let your life go to shit outside of that. Don't give up the chaos. The chaos doesn't go away, but own a pocket of time that you've decided is important to you. And I hope that makes sense, because Everything else is just, I'm a big mindset-y I would love to love myself. Oh my God, that would feel good. But I have depression and I don't. So how do I do a thing even though, right? It's so pivotal for us in my mind. I know this is an opinion of one here. If you share the opinion, you share it. But if you don't, I mean, chuck it in the garbage. I don't care. It's not true for you.
Yeah. What's cool about podcasts is we're just having a conversation, right? And we're just talking about the things that we believe in. And if that resonates with someone, then that's cool, right? It doesn't mean that I immediately adopt what you believe in or you immediately adopt. Like, we have these conversations to connect and figure out if there's another way. What's interesting, so I'm in my head a lot, right? Like, we're all in our head a lot. So I like your logical thinking aspect of it. Like, okay, no, you just have to do it, right? But when you're in your head and you're ruminating or you're very dysregulated and you're in a space where you've decided, I'm not going to succeed anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You're not going to succeed. You were right. You should get out of town and pack it up, put it in a suitcase because you're done. No, Get regulated. Do your mindfulness exercises. Take 5 minutes. Do whatever you need to do to think on this, because I don't really want to come from a place of like your feelings don't matter. And I also don't want to come from a place of just do it, because I know that just do it doesn't work for us. But what I do want to say is that you're going to be dysregulated. That's part of the package of you. So to think that you're going to never be dysregulated and it somehow determines whether or not you move toward a goal or not means that you're at the whims of however you feel all the time. So now we have to wait for you to feel inspired and hopeful and good for you to do anything. That's never going to achieve anything. But what you can do is do the bare minimum. Half-ass it, right? Half-assing, here's my stance. Half-assing is better than no-assing. How about that? Half-assing is better than whole-assing to prevent no-assing. I think that's the same. It's in a scientific journal. Google it, okay?
Yeah.
Fact check me. That's science. If you're in a place of, I just can't, then you can't. I get it. You can't. But what can you do? And the answer can't be, I'm just not going to do anything for 3 weeks until somehow I have the juice. Because I mean, from a depression standpoint, nothing sounds better than a nap all the time. When I'm in my low place, when I'm in a mood state that sucks, oh my God, napping is everything to me. And so, but I have stuff to do, right? So I'm going to do something, and I'm going to reward myself with a nap, and then I'm going to do something again. I'm not going to be pro not doing the work. I'm never going to say, then good, just take time for you. 3 weeks off. I don't know. What? Rit? What? Who? In this economy? I have bills. So there's a level of take care of yourself then. You know, when you're not dysregulated, meditate, learn skills, do yoga, do the mindfulness stuff. Here's my mala beads, right? I do the things that people with ADHD don't think that they can do, right? The meditating and regulating your nervous system when you don't have to regulate it is how you get to a point where when the shit is hitting the fan, you can maybe get back on track quicker. And scene. That's all I have to say.
Beautiful. That was so beautiful.
I don't know what else to say about it. Just do the goddamn work, Megs. I don't know. That's aggressive.
My point of doing this season, talking about the messy middle, is that some of it's going to suck. But you're doing it because you are seeking out this feeling on the other side. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're changing, whatever you're trying to achieve, you are seeking something on the other side. But you've got to go through it first. And I'm going to paint a picture in a second, but what I really liked about what you said is you're going to feel things. You're going to feel like giving up. You're going to feel like wanting to quit. You're going to feel like this. You're going to feel like that. But the most important thing is that you keep doing. No matter what, you keep doing. Find the things you do when you don't feel the best and make a list of those. Okay, those are the things I'm going to do that might even help me a little bit to remind me why I'm doing this, right? Why is so important to me? Because I'm like, oh gosh, I think when the feelings come up, I don't know why I started. But what I think is cool about, Adam and I just moved into a rental. So we're renting for the first time since 2016. And in the room upstairs that we are sleeping in, the primary bedroom, we originally came in and the bed was on one side of the wall. And then we didn't have enough furniture. So we're kind of thinking like, oh, what do we want to put here? What do we want put there? If we had just left things alone and didn't do anything about it, we would still have all of these ideas and maybe be a little bit closer to making a decision. But no, we started taking action and we moved the bed to the other side of the room. And we bought a TV and we kind of figured out where that was going to go. We moved the dresser from one side of the room to the other side of the room. And now the bed has just been moved to a different spot in the room. It's hilarious because both Adam and I have ADHD. So today he was like, I think I'm going to move the room around. And I'm like, yes, do it. Right? Like, I'm so excited about it. That's an exciting part of the change.
Yeah.
But when I come upstairs, it's still not finished yet, right? Finished, quote unquote, because it's not to the point where I feel like I can come upstairs and just feel comfortable being in this space. For me, I need more color. I need more like je ne sais quoi, right? Like lots of different things in this space. But that is the messy middle to me in a very logical, literal, this is my space type of thing. And even with organizing, right? Like I had systems in my old house of like where things went and where I'd go to look for things. And now this is a new house where I don't know where anything goes still. We're trying to create homes for things. We don't have enough places to put things. It just feels yucky. And
oh my God, even like the walking from a room, like how you used to walk from the living room to the kitchen is a different move. It's a different pathway in this new place, right? So all these habits that you had are gone. You have to reform. That's got to be really tough from an organizational standpoint, right? Okay, yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
I have to take a look at how far I've come. Remember that I just moved into this place. This is new. This is different. I'm building something that is a completely new life, which means that I'm not going to be good at it right away. And so like, how do you learn? So I say this because like I'm, telling you, what helps me is looking back and seeing how far I've come. How do you get through some of the quote unquote perceived failures, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. That's, I don't know that I do. I don't think I do. I've done so many things wrong. I've had so many ventures in my past, and I can logically tell you, well, this is what I learned. I learned how to make clear polymer stamps. I learned how to create a product. I learned how to build a website or whatever it is. So I can put a positive spin on it, but that's all backwards looking. And none of that moves me forward at all. I take the knowledge that I've had and I apply it, not consciously. I know what fails for me and I know what doesn't work for me. And maybe that's what moves forward, but it's not an active top of my mind. Let's apply what I learned in 2004 to this very situation. No, it's gone. So it's really the keeping my face forward because you have all of the emotional triggered responses. You're going to fail. You have all these like thoughts that come up that will debilitate the imposter syndrome, the RSD stuff, right? All these things that make us feel crappy. Those are going to keep coming up. And maybe the lesson that's been learned is to not fight them. They're happening because our body is responding to something, but it's not really relevant to what my life right now. Even though that all feels true and is all real and oh my God, I hate myself and that's all that feels like the truth in the moment. Even though all that, I'm going to send an email or whatever the dumb thing is. I'm going to move the bed to the other side of the room or whatever. And so what are you going to do? Just not do anything for 3 weeks, feeling like shit about yourself? That's who we used to be. The cocooning, like I'm just going to erase myself from the world, go into a cocoon and emerge a butterfly, a new me. The process to becoming the new me really has effort involved. I don't know what disgusting effort is involved inside an actual cocoon. I think their skin molts or they melt. I don't know what the process is, but it's not pretty.
Well, what's interesting about what you said too, well, first off, that your failures don't prevent you from moving forward. And this is like getting deeper, but what is a failure
Let's
anyway?
go.
What does it even mean to fail? But also to that point, as far as failures go, what does it mean to fail? Oh, we are so imperfect. We are imperfect beings. I am imperfect. I'm really good at what I do, and I can see so much of how I can help others and asking the right
Yes.
questions and in knowing where to put things, right? But like
Yep.
also, I'm imperfect. And when
Mhm.
I'm going through a period of transition, that's another part of my working memory that's working. Like right now, we're also going through a period of grief, really, from leaving our life behind in Colorado
Mhm.
to build a new life. And
Yep.
so it's this interesting transitionary period between wanting to make this really cool change and positive, like, let's do it, but also letting go of who we used to be. Not in a tragic sense, we're still that person, but we
Yeah.
still expect certain aspects of ourselves to show up. But the truth is, we're still imperfect. And when we're creating a new life for ourselves in a different place, it takes time to figure that out and figure out what your new normal is.
Totally. Yeah. There's so much time that we spend on dwelling on maybe why we are the way that we are, or how we feel like we should feel about a thing, or how we should be about a thing. And all that does is keep us immobile. I'm not moving to Massachusetts correctly, or I'm not unpacking the right way, or whatever it would be, right? It's like, who gives a shit? You're doing your thing and you are succeeding at your thing. And, you're an awesome organizational coach. We all know that about you, obviously. But it's like, God, I think about all the times when I've thought crappy thoughts about myself on the daily. World champion, fight with ourselves. But this is why I kind of veered away from CBT, like cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm like, I don't want to fucking reframe for my thought. I had it. It existed in my brain, and I don't want to fight with my brain. It's because it's dumb. It says the most rudest, meanest things to me about me, and I don't appreciate it. So why am I going to turn around and be like, listen, buddy, this is how we're going to think about this. We're going to say it was a good try. We're going to say it was all, and like, I'd rather just move forward and just be like, yeah, that happened. I'm moving on. That got me all sidewinded on CBT. So I'm sorry about that. I don't
No.
know.
That's huge.
It has its place. It has its home, I think.
I've heard a lot of therapists talk about CBT as a not so great approach to ADHD. And so I find that very interesting.
Here's where I would say I like it, and this is two non-therapists shooting the shit about it. I use it for journaling in my RSD moments when I'm like, does that person really hate you and want you dead? Where's the proof? Show me the proof. They said not to bother them right now. That's a death threat. It doesn't make sense. So it's fine when you're taking time out to look at what's happening and you're lost. But man, so many times like the DBT type stuff would be like, I've heard Lori Bruce was on the show and she was talking about how for depression, DBT tends to be more in line because when you are depressed, you believe the dark truth. Right. And it's sad to say, but you think I am worthless and I have no place on this planet. Nobody wants me here. It's not just a thought. It's a feeling. It's a truth. And you're like, how do you fight truth? Even though you know on paper it's bullshit. How do you fight truth? So like having an even though component for me and my brain, my skull spaghetti, that tends to be more efficient in the effort of moving forward. In the effort of coming out of paralysis and getting unstuck, which is, I'm totally taking us on a bird walk. Where did we end up? How did we get here? We're in a therapist's office. How did we get here?
Yeah, right? We are driven so much by our emotions. We're driven so much by what our brain is doing and saying. And so we know we want to change. And these things are going to continue to come up. So if someone's not working with a coach and they don't have that reminder of like, no, just keep doing it, right? Like keep doing it. You said this for a reason. You're doing this for a reason, blah, blah, blah. If someone's not working with a coach, like what do they do to get to the other side?
I'm a huge fan of other people. So join a community, get your spouse involved, get whoever can get involved in a shame-free, judgment-free way. But to get through the doing of the work is get it out of your head. Give up the belief that you're going to remember that you have a 5-year goal. Give up the idea that you're going to remember what you're working on and give yourself permission to forget. And so what does that mean for you? Does that mean setting a timer, setting alarms, create whatever scaffolding you need? And I'll tell you this in coaching, like when I'm doing one-on-one people, everybody's different. So this idea that there's like the answer for your ADHD, YouTube it, there's a bajillion people giving you a bajillion ways to get on the other end of your bajillion ADHD symptoms. Pick one. It really doesn't matter. pick a thing and give it a shot. Give it a true shot. And here's what I'm going to say. They're like, well, but they're going to forget to give it a shot. Okay. Everything that you just heard on this podcast, you're going to forget. I guarantee you, the second this is over, no offense to Megs, because they do this on my podcast too. I do this. You're on to the next podcast. How long is your commute? You're on to the next one. And so whatever great idea happened in here is gone. So if you're not going to work with somebody, then you have to figure out what is the way that you're going to get it out of your head and in front of you. And not just that, how are you going to get it in front of you and then remind yourself that it's in front of you? Give yourself that scaffolding. And this is like alarms, timers, reminders. Beg your people in your life, okay, can you remind me at 5 to do a thing? Can you send me a text at 5? Send yourself a scheduled text if you can do that. This is how you help yourself. This is how you move forward. That's what the thing with a coach is, that you get the thought partner, right? And I'm only going to talk for me because this is how I work with people, is I get you unstuck, and then you have the accountability partner to then talk you through why you didn't do it and what you're going to do next time, and get ideas and iterations. And then once you get unstuck, you then can have the process of becoming consistent. And then at the end of that, you get to then have all these tools to coach yourself, because you found things through the process of coaching that were your unique way of doing things, which is not something it's an iteration of a common process. It's your Eisenhower matrix. It's your Pomodoro technique. It's whatever. It's going to be your unique way of doing it. So then be curious. If you're not using a coach, be curious about what that is for you, and then practice. Try and keep going. And don't give up on anything until you've tried it for at least 2 weeks. Don't give me I know myself and this won't work for me. I've heard that so many, and I've said it myself. Give a thing a shot, a good shot, for 2 weeks. Be successful at it for 2 weeks, and then decide if that was a thing that works for you or not.
I like that a lot. And it gets lonely when you try to do it alone. There's so many women that have come to me and they're like, I'm so embarrassed about my home. Don't look at it. I can't show you. And I'm like, woman, I have seen everything. This is literally what I do. I have seen it all. There's nothing that affects me in a way that I'm like, there's no judgment. I get it. I understand. Right. But until you start to see and understand and stop hiding from the fact that this is a thing you want to stop doing and start making a change towards, you won't see that so many other people have the same thing. And that's part of it. I love, even in the webinar that we were in, this community is so amazing because we start to hear different perspectives and understand that there's other ways to do it. And other people are struggling with the same things, but are also like a year ahead of us in how much progress they've made because they have tried new things and figured out where they want to go. And they might be still in this quote unquote messy middle, but they're on the other side of what was originally causing them to make a change in the first place. So doing 100%. It alone is isolating. You get one perspective, you get one idea, and then those 1 or 2 perspectives that you have in your own head doing this mental litigation back and forth are the few things that could take you down if you don't allow anyone into this space to remind you of what you're capable of. Because oftentimes, we can be that detrimental and sit in a corner for 3 weeks doing nothing. But obviously that's not great either.
Isn't that funny how oppositional we are? I was just having this thought when you were talking, we're so oppositional. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do the opposite. And yet our brain can be a really big asshole and we believe him. Why aren't we oppositional to our brain? Why aren't we oh, you think I suck? Well, I'm going to do it anyway because, screw you. I don't That's so bizarre. Yeah. Yes, I do want to just throw some kudos at you, because one of the great things that I've noticed about you is it's easy to be vulnerable around you. So it's easy for people that have just crazy clutter and mess and stuff, that you're, it's not like a holy mackerel, that's a mess. You're very, very empathic. So I think that's what makes a great coach, is that your ability to be you open the door for people to be vulnerable and go through that fear of exposing themselves in the way that they're feel full of shame or whatever. So high five to you on that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Cool. All right.
You're welcome.
So,
and we're done here. And that's it. You get one compliment and now I'm leaving.
That was great. That's exactly why I invited you here. And I got what I needed to.
Oh, man. You fished for a whole hour and you finally got a compliment.
So I want to put a shameless plug out there real quick because I have a community and the doors are open right now. I'd love to invite you in. Russ has a community and it's so cool. I've been in there. Actually, some of the members of his community are also members of my community. I'm so honored. And there's so many other communities out there. So like we're here telling you, come to our space, see if it's right for you, but also join a space that's right for you. It's got to be the space that helps you continue to move on. If you're ready for a larger investment, get a coach. Find someone who can encourage you and really ask you the questions that you've never asked yourself to understand why you have not moved forward in your perspective, right? And in the same breath, I could say, talk to your friends about this. Talk to someone that you really care about it because they're going to want to hear it. They want to hear the changes you want to make and they want to support you. In fact, like most of the time we're on our phones anyway, I want to promote more community. Call someone that you haven't talked to in a while. Text someone and ask them if they want to get together and talk about goals or talk about making a change. That is such a cool way to move forward because it gets really lonely when you're trying to make a change on your own. I don't recommend it. But I do recommend making changes just with other humans who support you, who have kind things to say. So with that said, Russ, tell us a little bit about your space. Like how could our listeners work with you?
Yeah, sure. And I'll say this too about community. 1,000% agree with you. We were mentioning it earlier too. The idea that in a community that welcomes unsolicited advice. I know like a lot of times some communities are like, don't tell us what to do. In our community, I'm like, if all your unsolicited advice, every dumb idea that you have, share it because we're all grown-ups and we can take advice or not take it. We can choose to say thank you and move on. But imagine having a situation in your life that sucks and you need help and you get 10 dumb ideas for your one problem. There's going to be an idea in there to try that's going to spark something in your head. But it was just one person having the courage to be like, I think this is my dumb idea, but this is what worked for me. And you're like, that's exactly what makes a community work is when we all lift each other up. We all like listen and we all share. Oh God, I love it. I think that's amazing. Okay. So who am I and how do you work with me? Let me tell you real quick. Let me roll the advertisement and go. Yes. Right now, I've opened up a few slots for one-on-one coaching, specifically for people that are stuck. Like they're looking to get unstuck. They're looking for consistency in something, some kind of a goal. Ultimately, the process has you coaching yourself, getting a blueprint. Because as I said before, it's like we're all unique. So we work through the struggles that you're having. And at the end, it's like, this is what works for you when you're troubleshooting. And so I have 2 spots open left in that. Then in terms of the community, it is a community for doing. We're not short on the emotional support for ADHD that's out there. I'm really in service of the now what, right? Emotional support happens intrinsically for ADHD. You get a room full of ADHD people together. We get it. We're like, oh my God. And we rant to each other. We ramble all day long about the shitty things that are going. That happens. But we need a space, in my mind, I needed a space for the doing of the work, the daily accountability, body doubling rooms, like the monthly goals calls. And then we do have a weekly support on Mondays now, but it's for us to meet each other and hang out with each other visually as opposed to just online. We got the award from Circle it's like this platinum award, which just meant we have really insane engagement. So like our daily accountability is insanely packed with people going, this is what I'm going to do today. And we gamify it with a day streak. Everybody creates their own rules so that they're moving along at their own pace and for them, but they're doing the work. And this is the best part. Oh my God. So this is the best part is people with ADHD, we fail at doing the work. That's a normal thing. So we'll have like a day streak of like 50 days in a row of doing a thing. And then we forgot one day. And then you show up the next day and you're like, day 1, I feel horrible. I'm an awful human. But really what you did was you showed right back up. Imagine in normal life when we're doing this alone. I had a day streak going 50 days in a row. And then you forgot one day. Oh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a loser. I'm worthless. And so then this doesn't work for me. And then we shame away for 3 months. And then we're like, okay, I think I'm going to go for a day streak again. That 3-month gap sucks. And we have people in there that are like, I did it. I forgot one day. Holy balls. That feeling in your gut, we're like, oh, I forgot. Post day 1. And guess what you get to do? You get to share what got in the way. I forgot. Okay, how do I not forget next time? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a rule for myself. And that's how we grow.
Yeah.
And we grow by being vulnerable publicly. Oh my God, I love it. Anyways.
That's so cool. If somebody wanted to coach with you, how do they get in touch with you?
You book a 30-minute call. I mean, we got to find out if it's right. We can share that link, or you can go to ADHDBigBrother.com and click on book a free chat. You can email me, russ@ADHDBigBrother.com, and I respond to them all. So reach out. And I love talking to you guys, so don't be shy.
Awesome. That's so cool. Okay. So, I guess wise words at the end. If I want to make a change, but it feels hard, should I do it?
Yes.
Wow.
Just make the change. Just do it. If you want to make a change, if this is a serious question. If you really want to make a change, have a heart-to-heart with yourself about it and fantasize about what it looks like when it happens in the good sense, and then pick a thing that moves you forward to that and nudge yourself forward. One little step at a time. And use a timer, because that's the ADHD way. That is our way.
That's awesome. I will say that when I'm feeling yucky and I'm feeling like I want to give up, I want to quit, I just want to go get a corporate job, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I go back to the vision. I go back to that fantasy world that I created in my head and what I'm striving for. And that's
awesome.
Cool. It brings me back to alignment, and that's super helpful. So amazing. We could call it my why, if you will.
That's your spiritual chiropractor. Moving your soul into alignment. Way to go.
Okay,
way to crack your spirits back.
That's beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah,
Russ,
Thank you.
Thank you, as always. We might have you as like the permanent guest, right? We'll just be like, well, it's Russ's 4th time and this 5th time and 6th time.
I want to always have the record. So if you get somebody else that's on like 3 times, I want an email and I want to get a chance to one-up them.
Absolutely.
Always.
You got it.
Thank you.
So I hope that you enjoyed that episode just as much as I did. I always love Russ's take on things. And specifically, something that stood out for me was doing it regardless of the way that you feel. This comes up so often. We're waiting for the right time, or for us to feel good, for letting go of a specific item, or to finally do something that doesn't feel good. But the thing is that it's going to be uncomfortable. It's naturally uncomfortable, and you're not going to feel good doing it until that one day every, month or so, or every couple months where you might feel good. But most of the time you're just not, and that's okay. And truthfully, it's okay to half-ass it. We've got to recognize that we do have a perfectionist mindset, right? We know that we're going to go into it with this perfectionism in mind, and then say, yeah, but how could I just be good enough so that I make progress, so that I'm doing something rather than nothing? Because something gets us closer to anything. When we do nothing, it just keeps us in the same position, shaming ourselves over and over again. If you guys want to connect with Russ, go to the show notes below. He is the host of ADHD Big Brother. I've got the connections there. He also has a community called ADHD Big Brother. With that said, my community is open right now, organizing an ADHD brain community. And this month, we're talking about visual clutter. So we've already posted our before pictures in the app or on the browser so that we can start to chip away at this visual clutter, this stuff that's literally taking up space in our brain because we have to look at it all day long. Even when we're not actually making decisions on it, we're making decisions on not doing it, on avoiding it, on seeing that it's there, registering it in our nervous system, but not actually taking any action on it. So this month, we are taking action on it. The community is only open until October 10th. So jump in the show notes below and you can join right there. It's $37 a month, and it's less expensive if you do quarterly or yearly. And if you want to know more about the community and what we do, go to organizinganadhdbrain.com/community to see all the frequently asked questions and get an idea of what we do on a monthly basis. On that note, the quest to get through the messy middle continues, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for listening to Organizing an ADHD Brain. Just remember, I am not a doctor or a mental health professional. Everything I share here comes from my own lived experiences or my professional experience coaching other ADHD humans. If you need medical or mental health advice, please reach out to a licensed medical professional. What you hear on this podcast is for support and education, and how you use the information is completely up to you. For more resources, free downloads, and different ways to work with me, whether through coaching or the community, please go to organizinganadhdbrain.com. And don't forget, the perfect place to start is right where you are.